Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Dude Ranch DIY. I'm Jake, and today we are in the wood yard with the RuggedMade splitter. If you guys have been following along, in the last couple videos, you saw that Jared and the guys from RuggedMade were here at the Dude Ranch visiting. They took a look at my modified RuggedMade RS-737 log splitter. We did a little bit of splitting, and we got a couple other little goodies in store for you. While they were here, in addition to just checking out the log splitter and stuff, they brought me some logging tools, as they call them. And the first one being this handy little log grabber thing. I think this is mostly meant for, picking up rounds that are already split, or not already split, but already cut in preparation for splitting. Almost similar to a pickaroon, but instead of having to hook it at one end, you can just grab it from the middle and it clamps down, very similar to the log tongs that I use on the tractor, and then you can place it up on the splitter. The other thing, which is a set of log tongs, is this. These are some pretty big, heavy duty 4-tong log tongs, which I think would be much better suited for the way that I've been kind of using them on the front end loader of the tractor, to pick up the logs fully off the ground and cut them in the air. That way it totally eliminates any chance of me burying the chainsaw in the dirt here. I think it'll, actually I don't know how it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work better than my conventional set of log tongs because those just have 2 pinch points, whereas this set has 4. But today we're going to try it out. I got an IBC tote that's about half full from when Jared and the RuggedMade guys were here. So my hope is to grab a couple logs off the pile behind me with the tractor. Using these log tongs, we'll pick them up, buck them up into 16-inch pieces, get them on the splitter, and hopefully get the rest of this tote filled up this afternoon. Stay tuned. So before we get started, I just wanted to give you a little closer look here at these log tongs. They're pretty sweet. They have a full swivel, like D-ring kind of thing here, and they appear to be pretty beefy. They're definitely pretty large. So what I'm thinking for today, since I have the pallet forks on because I was moving the IBC totes around, those are the 2 that we filled up. And like I said, we got one more that's about half full. But since I have the pallet forks on, I figured I would try a stab at pulling off some logs from this pile just with the pallet forks. Instead of bringing the Cormidi down here with the Grapple and having 2 machines that I have to hop back and forth on. So I'm gonna try and pick up a few logs, bring them over closer to the splitter with the pallet forks, and then we'll throw on the log tong and see how it works as far as picking up the logs totally suspended off the ground. Now I'm thinking an advantage to these log tongs as opposed to just cutting off of the pallet forks is that the frame of the pallet forks will not get in the way. I have a pretty neat little cable that I can just loop through the bottom support crossbar there and attach the log tongs to, and I'm thinking that it'll keep it kind of away from the metal. That way I don't dull the chainsaw on the pallet fork frame. So let's get going. tormenting going back and forth, but my initial thought is that I'm going to run this steel cable in and around this center point. That way it doesn't really shift back and forth. And I'm going to use this, you know, link. I don't know if they have a specific name, like a quick link or a threaded link. And I'm going to put it right here through both of these ends. And then I'm going to take the other end and put it through the log tongs here. And now I'm going to screw it down. And by doing this, it's going to be able to keep my loader arms a little bit lower for a better center of gravity. That way I don't have to have them up quite so high. And I think it's going to kind of eliminate a little bit of the, you know, swaying back and forth, because it's going to be on a much shorter length of cable, as opposed to me just hooking one end of the cable up here and having the other, you know, 4 feet down at the bottom. So I've never used these before, but I am eager to see, you know, how they work. And obviously, me being here by myself, it's going to take a little trial and error to try and get them on without me hopping off the tractor. But my guess is I'm going to have to hop off the tractor, get them set, and then I can lift it up. So bear with me. So I think that should be good. The log is almost totally balanced. If it was, you know, a little bit straighter and didn't bow out like this one does, I think it might be a little bit easier. But every cut that I need to make is off the ground. And I think as soon as I make one cut on that end, it should probably teeter-totter and the weight will shift, and it should probably level itself out. So I'm gonna give this a try. The loader arm is locked in the upright position, but I'm not gonna be standing underneath the loader. I'm just gonna be standing to the side of it for safety reasons. All right, I think that worked pretty well. I do think there still was the issue of, you know, the log becoming kind of counterbalanced and one end going one way, one end going the other way, but it definitely does keep it up out of the dirt. I think the issue I am running into too, and let me know in the comments if any of you guys experience this. If you have the Mingo marker, it's a great tool. It's really fast for measuring out the firewood, but I don't think it's quite as accurate as, say, you know, those magnetic sticks that I have, just because it kind of sprays a big paint spot on your log, and it's kind of hard to tell, you know, where exactly that 16-inch or 18-inch, whatever, you know, length you're doing mark is. Now I try and just aim for like the center of it, because that would kind of make the most sense to me, but there is a lot of kind of variation in it. So we're gonna see how all of these, you know, rounds kind of stack up to each other as far as like length. They look pretty even, But if you're going for really specific lengths of firewood, which I'd like to be at least like within an inch, I'd say, of that 16-inch mark, give or take. But if you're going for exactly, you have, customers or your stove only fits 16-inch wood, then you might be better off using one of those magnetic sticks, because they are, I think, personally, much more accurate. Okay, now the next tool that I'm going to use that RuggedMade sent me were these handy log tongs. I've never used anything like this that was, handheld. I've used the Picaroon. It kind of seems similar to the log ox. Some of you guys might have that tool. So I'm going to give these a shot and see how they do. They're very light. There's not too much that can go wrong. Just 4 little bolts. They're like 10mm bolts with, I think, number 6 Allen key. So we're going to give it a shot, see how it goes. It might need to break in a little bit. It seems like the paint might be sticking a little bit, preventing it from just closing on its own. But yes, if you kind of push it a little bit, it closes. And then you can kind of just lift it up and pop it. Yeah, now they seem to be breaking in a little bit. Oh. If it doesn't let go, it's a good way to throw your arm out of socket, that's for sure. But there we go. That wasn't too bad. I think, like I said, some of these bolts might be a little bit too tight. Maybe I should loosen them up a little bit. But also the paint, is brand new. So they're gonna have to, it's gonna have to wear in a little bit. But to the guys at RuggedMade, thank you very much for this and the log tongs. We're gonna keep using them here this afternoon, and I'll give a final assessment kind of after I've used them a little bit more. All right, guys, so we got a nice little pile of wood here. Those 4 logs all cut up right next to the RuggedMade splitter here. The jury is still out on these log tongs. I think they would be a lot easier with 2 people, just, much like when Chris and I tried back over the winter a bunch of videos ago. He would kind of, position the tongs on the log, and then I would lift them up, and then we'd be able to cut. They're all cut up. They look relatively similar, in length, as far as the Mingo marker goes. It's been a while since I used it, so that could, potentially be some of my error, operator error, on that end. But I mean, as you can see, it does make pretty big dots. So just seeing and supposedly I cut all these dots in half. So you can see it does kind of vary. I don't know if there's a way to kind of streamline the paint mark that it makes with a different tip or something. I'll have to look into that, or if any of you guys have it and have modified it in any way or found a product that does, a tip or something that does streamline the paint mark, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. But for now, this should be enough to fill up this IBC tote. So I'm gonna fire up the splitter and we're gonna get to splitting. It's been a long time since we've done the wood splitting videos, and I know a lot of you guys love the wood splitting videos, so here we go. got a nice big pile of wood stacked up here in between the IBC tote and the splitter. It got a little away from me because I'm here by myself. I got wood bound. We just got 2 more rounds left and a couple more to send through for a second time. But Sarah just came down with Louie and she's all dressed up. Where are we going tonight?
Carl Anthony's. It's restaurant week in Monroe. So we're gonna take advantage of that. But
help support.
We're going in a half hour, so
I'm late. I gotta hop in the hit the shower. I'm in trouble. Sarah's not happy, but it's restaurant week here in our town, and we figured we'd go out to help support the local businesses after this whole pandemic thing. But there you go, guys. RuggedMade RS-737 powers through wood even with one guy. I'm sure this is plenty to fill up the rest of the IBC tote and then some. But as always, guys, if you like this stuff, give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. Any questions, comments, feedback about any of the RuggedMade tools or the RuggedMade log splitter, leave them in the comments section below. I'm Jake. This is Dude Ranch DIY. We'll see you here next time. Thanks so much for watching.